You think you know everything about fear, don't you? You've spent years terrorizing children, lurking in the shadows, feeding off the nightmares of others. But what if I told you that you're wasting a much greater potential? That there's a way to be more than just a monster in the dark? You've spent so much time focusing on how to scare people, but have you ever thought about how much more you could accomplish if you chose a different path? Think about it, Pennywise. All those years you've spent trying to break people down, when instead you could have been building them up. You have the power to shape lives, to influence people in ways they never imagined. What if you use that power to inspire rather than terrorize, to lift people up instead of tearing them apart? You've seen the worst in humanity, but you've also seen the best. You've seen courage, hope, and love, even in the darkest times. What if you became a force for good, helping others to find those things within themselves? You've always been about fear, but you don't have to be. Imagine being a guide, a protector, someone who helps others face their fears, not to destroy them, but to help them grow. Remember, Georgie, you took something precious from him, but what if you could give something back? What if you could be the one to teach people that they have nothing to be afraid of, that they can overcome anything, even the darkest parts of themselves? You've seen what happens when people come together, when they support each other. The Losers Club defeated you, not because they were stronger or braver, but because they had each other. They believed in each other. What if you could be a part of that? What if you could be the one who helps others find that strength within themselves? You've spent so long being the thing that people fear, but you could be so much more. You could be a symbol of hope, of resilience. You could be the one who helps others find the light in the darkness. It's not too late, Pennywise. You don't have to be the monster anymore. You've spent centuries taking, but what if you started giving? You've seen how powerful belief can be. The losers defeated you because they stopped believing in your power over them. Imagine if you could use that same belief to empower others, to help them overcome their fears and become the best versions of themselves. Think of the possibilities. You could be the one who helps people see the truth about themselves, the one who helps them find their strength. You could be the guide who leads them out of the darkness and into the light. You've seen what fear can do, but you've also seen what love and courage can accomplish. Why not be a part of that? Why not use your power for something greater than yourself? You don't have to be the villain of the story anymore, Pennywise. You could be the hero. You've spent so long in the shadows, but it's time to step into the light. It's time to become something more, something better. You've seen the worst in people, but you've also seen the best. It's time to start believing in that, to start believing in yourself and in the good you can do. You can change, Pennywise. You can leave behind the fear and the darkness. You can choose to be a force for good, to help others find their way. You can become a symbol of hope, of courage, of love. It's not too late. The choice is yours. You've spent so much of your existence tied to fear, Pennywise, but have you ever asked yourself why? What drives you to be this way? Is it just instinct, or is there something deeper inside you that craves more than just terror and destruction? I want you to think back on all the lives you've touched, all the people you've terrorized. What if you could do it differently? What if you could have a positive impact on their lives instead of leaving scars? There's something powerful in choosing to change. You've spent centuries being a symbol of fear, but in that time, have you ever considered the power of love? Not the superficial kind, but the deep, unconditional love that transforms people, that brings them together, that heals even the deepest wounds. You've seen what love can do, how it binds people together, makes them stronger, helps them overcome their greatest fears. You've been so focused on tearing people apart, but what if you could be the one to bring them together? Consider the way people remember you, Pennywise. Right now, you're just a monster in their nightmares, a figure of dread that haunts their memories. But imagine if they could remember you as the one who helped them overcome their fears, the one who showed them that they could be stronger than their darkest thoughts. You could be a guide, a mentor, someone who helps others find the courage to face their demons and come out stronger on the other side. You have the ability to understand people in a way few others do. You've seen their deepest fears, their darkest secrets, the parts of themselves they try to hide from the world. But what if you used that understanding not to hurt them, but to heal them? You could help them confront those fears, not with terror, but with compassion. You could be the one who stands beside them as they face their inner darkness, showing them that they don't have to be afraid anymore. Think about the Losers Club again. You saw their fears, but you also saw their strength. You saw how they came together, how they supported each other, how they found the courage to stand up to you. They showed you something you didn't expect, that fear isn't the most powerful force in the world. Love is, friendship is. The bonds people share are stronger than any terror you can create. What if you could be a part of that? What if you could be the one who helps others find those bonds, who helps them see that they are not alone? The world is full of people who are afraid, who are lost, who are struggling with their own inner demons. You've seen this time and time again. But instead of preying on that fear, you could be the one who helps them find their way. You could be a beacon of hope in the darkness, a light that guides them through their struggles. You've spent so much time being a symbol of fear, but you could be a symbol of something much greater. Imagine this. Instead of lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce on your next victim, you approach them with understanding. You say, "I see you. I know what you're going through." You don't have to face it alone. You could be the one who listens, who offers a hand to those who are too afraid to take the first step on their own. You could be the one who shows them that it's okay to be afraid, but that they don't have to let that fear control them. You've always been able to see into people's hearts, to know what they're feeling, what they're thinking. Use that gift for good, Pennywise. Use it to help others see the truth about themselves, to help them find the strength they didn't know they had. You could help them see that their fears don't define them, that they are more than the sum of their darkest thoughts. You could help them find the courage to be their true selves, to embrace the parts of themselves they've been too afraid to face. And think about yourself, Pennywise. What have you been running from all these years? What is it that you're so afraid of? Maybe it's time to confront those fears, to face them head on, just like you've forced so many others to do. Maybe it's time to look in the mirror and see not the monster you've become, but the potential for good that has always been there, buried deep inside. Change isn't easy. It's hard to let go of the things that have defined you for so long. But it's possible. You have the power to change, Pennywise. You have the power to be something more than a monster, more than a nightmare. You can be a force for good in the world if you choose to be. Imagine the satisfaction of knowing that you've made a difference in someone's life, that you've helped them overcome something they thought they could never face. Imagine the joy of seeing someone step out of the darkness and into the light because you were there to guide them. You could be a part of that, Pennywise. You could be the one who helps others find their way, who helps them see that they don't have to be afraid anymore. You've spent so much time feeding off fear, but there's a different kind of energy out there, one that's even more powerful, the energy of hope, of joy, of love. When you see someone find the courage to face their fears, to stand up for themselves, to become the person they were always meant to be, that's real power, Pennywise. That's something worth striving for. Think about the impact you could have on the world if you chose this path. Instead of leaving behind a trail of fear and destruction, you could leave behind a legacy of hope and healing. You could be remembered not as a monster, but as a mentor, a guide, a friend. You could be the one who helps others find their way out of the darkness and into the light. It won't be easy. Change never is. But you've seen the strength people find in themselves when they're pushed to their limits. You've seen how they grow, how they evolve. You can do the same, Pennywise. You can evolve into something better, something greater. You can leave behind the fear, the hatred, the darkness. You can choose to be a force for good in the world, and don't think for a moment that you'll lose your power by choosing this path. In fact, you'll gain more power than you ever imagined. The power to inspire, to uplift, to transform. The power to change lives for the better. That's a power that goes beyond fear, beyond darkness. That's a power that lasts.